Hello my dear friends, and welcome back to another Star Wars news update. In today's video we're going to be talking about Kenobi, The Mandalorian Season 3, the Ahsoka Series, Andor, and so much more. Before we get into it my dear friends, if you're new to the channel, please be sure to hit that big red subscribe button and hit the bell to be alerted every time I post a new video. But without much further ado and without any more jibber jabber, let's dive straight into it. We once again find ourselves talking about Obi-Wan Kenobi Season 2 because Ewan McGregor has come out with some very interesting remarks. Until now, director Deborah Chow reiterated that the show was always conceived as a limited series, but money talks. She might have said that Season 1 was all we're getting, but Disney and Lucasfilm probably disagree, and despite all of that, Ewan McGregor revealed he is always down to return to portray the iconic Jedi, and given that amazing ending, with Kenobi about to begin training with his old master's Force ghost, fans want to see what happens next. In so many ways, in the hearts of many fans, what was teased at the end was what we actually wanted to see. While Lucasfilm has yet to officially announce if a follow-up season is happening, a previous rumour did indicate there is one in development. And now guys, during a fan Q&A at the Celebrity Fan Fest event, McGregor expressed huge interest in returning for a second season. He said, quote, "I'm totally up for it," and when he was asked if he knows about any plans for a concrete second season, he admitted that while there are no plans yet, he believes Lucasfilm and Disney are biding their time until it's officially announced. "I think based on fan anticipation, viewership, and general reception, it seems like Season 2 is inevitable at this stage, and I agree with Ewan, it's just a matter of time, it's a when rather than if. And who knows, maybe a second season could do the show wonders. I kind of feel the same way about it as the Book of Boba Fett. Perhaps after learning from their mistakes, they can deliver something incredible the second time round. And who doesn't want more of Qui-Gon's Force ghost?" At the moment though, of course, Andor is the next big Disney Plus show, but the Star Wars spotlights that will get fans at maximum hype levels again comes in 6 months' time, when The Mandalorian Season 3 drops, and of course Ahsoka the same year. After those shows, apart from the Acolyte and Season 2 of Visions, the future of Star Wars series is a big question mark. Apart from more seasons of the ones we got, like more of the Bad Batch, more Andor, more Mando, and so on, not much else is announced beyond 2023. Don't get me wrong, there are projects coming up like Skeleton Crew, in the future the Lando series, and Taika's movie, but I think very soon, including the ones I mentioned, Lucasfilm will soon announce the next slate, and that's probably going to include a second season of Kenobi and the Book of Boba Fett too. And speaking of Star Wars announcements, Disney have just revealed that on September the 8th, Disney Plus Day, there will be surprises, announcements, and premieres for Star Wars. A lot of fans seem to think it could be the Tales of the Jedi premiere, a surprise drop on that date, given at Star Wars Celebration they said it's poised for fall of 2022, but based on the big disappointment last year, we should temper our expectations. Don't expect anything and you won't be disappointed. And so now my dear friends, we have an update for The Mandalorian Season 3. The wait between seasons has been pretty lengthy. It's been nearly 2 years since The Mandalorian Season 2. Yes, we got the Book of Boba Fett last December, but we're all craving the next chapter in this story. Speaking at Thomas J. Henry's superhero car show and Comic-Con event, actor Giancarlo Esposito, Moff Gideon himself, promised fans that the next entry is not going to disappoint. He said, "I got to tell you, just to share something with you without spoiling anything, Season 3 of The Mandalorian is off the chain, you'll be amazed." Now, while this statement doesn't give away too much in terms of the plot, it does tease that Season 3 is going to be upping the game, so to speak, and as Jon Favreau said, higher quality than ever before. This season is going to blow us away. It's going to be the most Mandalorian season of the show, if that makes any sense. It all comes down to this: Din Djarin is seeking redemption in the mines of Mandalore. We've got the armor involved, Bo-Katan, many other Mandalorian clans, not to mention where Grogu's story goes from here, and as Giancarlo has teased in the past, Moff Gideon escaping prison. The stakes are raised, guys. And so now my dear Megalorians, we've got some new photos for the Andor series. Some of these are stunning, and we get confirmation of the rumour Bespin Bulletin put out that Adria Arjona's character is called Bix. My favourite photo of all of these, apart from Mon Mothma of course, is Andor in the poncho, very reminiscent of Cal Kestis. Who knows, maybe this is a hint. Just like with all the promotional material so far, you really get a sense that Andor is going to be gritty, but in the process, it's going to be an uplifting and inspiring show about how the underdog overcomes adversity. I've noticed over the last 24 hours, a lot more folks are catching on to the early review that was published for the show. I covered it several days ago, but I will reiterate something I said in that video. The divisive that the reviewer talks about might be the best sign for this show yet. They explicitly state that there is very little in the way of fan service, which means the plot and the story this show needs to tell are going to be focal. In my opinion, Star Wars desperately needs that right now. There's been a weird trend amongst reviewers and critics that they think all Star Wars fans want is fan service, but that's simply not true. We appreciate the storytelling and mythology that George Lucas created. A story about a young farmer boy and others going about their lives normally when they're suddenly thrown into something bigger than themselves, and that's what it sounds like Andor is returning to as a trope, which is super encouraging. We love the cameos and Easter eggs, but that's not what makes a Star Wars show or movie great. It's the plot itself, the journey and adventure the story takes us on. And so we've now got an update for the Ahsoka series, because appearing at the Chicago Comic and Entertainment Expo, Ahsoka leading actress Rosario Dawson confirmed that Grand Admiral Thrawn will be a major part of the Disney Plus series. When asked about where Thrawn and Ezra are, Dawson joked about him being, quote, incognito, before then jokingly asking if she could get Elizabeth Olsen's Scarlet Witch from the Marvel Universe to help her out. She also noted that in the first season, Ahsoka and her allies are really trying to track Thrawn down. So for those fans wondering if Season 1 was even going to tackle that plot thread, it definitely is. And by allies, she doesn't just mean Sabine Wren, but probably also Hera Syndulla and the rest of the Ghost crew. Really exciting stuff. And so one final thing to finish things off, I came across some of the most gorgeous Star Wars fan art I've ever seen before. It was quite hard to find the original artist, but this was sent to me on Twitter. Now, you don't need me to tell you that there are some very talented artists in this Star Wars fan community, but seldom has an artist used this much originality and, I suppose, creative intuition to create something so powerful out of scenes that a great portion of the fandom took issue with when The Last Jedi came out. They all concern Luke Skywalker on Arc 2 Island. In the first piece, we have Rey convincing him that it's not too late to turn the tide, that Ben Solo's future is undecided, and the hopelessness of Luke in itself was one thing, but the addition of these Force ghosts just makes it more intense and emotional. If you remember, it took a pep talk from Yoda's Force ghost to remind Luke that failure is the greatest teacher, that he needs to step up to the plate. The next two scenes depict Luke's death and transference into a Force ghost in the famous scene titled Peace and Purpose. And I love the track titled the same thing in the soundtrack. Whether you loved or hated The Last Jedi, John Williams kills it in episode 8. Luke force projecting from across the galaxy, and once more, we get those Force ghosts, but the big highlight for me across all three of these is the use of Sebastian Shaw's Anakin instead of Hayden Christensen. That is really bloody rare in fan art. Maybe I got way too excited about this, but it does do justice, I suppose, to the original face of Anakin before the prequels. And throwing old Ben Kenobi's ghost into anything makes it 10 times more majestic. I love these. Kudos to the artist. And so with that, my dear friends, that brings us to the end of today's Star Wars news update. If you enjoyed this one, as always, please be sure to give me a big fat thumbs up, subscribe to the channel if you're new, and a huge welcome if you are. And if you want more videos not found here on YouTube, while also helping to support the channel, then click the link down there in the description. But until the next one, guys, may the Force be with you always. I'm Star Wars Meg. Have a good one.